difference in a smile. Love and compassion hand in hand. Forgiveness helps us understand. Infinite threads weaving hearts together, even miles apart. Through the laughter, through the tears, we find strength to face our fears. Infinite threads weaving hearts together, even miles apart. Through the laughter, through the tears, we find strength to face our fears.
Welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm Bob, and I'm so grateful to have you here. If this is your first time listening, this is a space where we explore love, connection, and how we can move through the world with more compassion. Yesterday, we talked about empathy and boundaries, how we can be there for others without losing ourselves. But what happens when empathy is hard? What about those moments when we completely disagree with someone, or when emotions run high, which is a lot these days? That's what we're going to talk about today, how to practice empathy in difficult conversations. Because let's be honest, it's easy to be compassionate when we agree with someone. It's much harder when we feel frustrated, hurt, or misunderstood. So how do we hold space for people even when we don't see eye to eye? Well, let's dive in. We've all been there. A family argument at the dinner table, a heated discussion online, a conversation that starts small but escalates fast. And in those moments, empathy can feel impossible. Instead of listening, we start planning our next response. Instead of understanding, we focus on being right. But here's the thing. Real connection isn't about winning. It's about seeing the human being in front of us, even when we disagree. Empathy doesn't mean you have to agree. It doesn't mean you have to accept harmful behavior. But it does mean recognizing that everyone has a story. And most of the time, people believe what they do for a reason. If we can understand that, we create space for something deeper than just debate. We create space for understanding. This isn't easy, guys, at all. I mean, we're all going through this day after day these days. So how do we actually do this? Here's some ways to bring empathy into difficult conversations. If something upsets you, take a breath before responding. Ask yourself, am I trying to understand or am I trying to win? Instead of saying, that's wrong, try, what makes you feel that way? Or, tell me more about why you believe that. When we shift from attacking to curiosity, conversations become less about conflict and more about connection. I am somebody that's really got to work on this, guys. Even in disagreements, there's usually something we can relate to. Maybe you don't agree on politics, but you both care about fairness. Maybe you see the world differently, but you both want your families to be safe and happy. Start there. Validate emotions, even if you don't agree with the opinion. Saying, I can see why this feels important to you, doesn't mean you agree. It just means you acknowledge the other person's feelings. Some conversations won't lead to understanding, and that's okay. If a discussion turns toxic or harmful, it's okay to say, I don't think this conversation is helping either of us. Setting a boundary isn't a failure. It's self-care, as we talked about before. Now, what about when the other person isn't practicing empathy? What if they're attacking, dismissing, or refusing to hear you out? first remember this: you are not responsible for changing someone else's mind. You can offer empathy, but you can't force someone to accept it. If someone is unwilling to meet you halfway, the most compassionate thing you can do for them and for yourself is to let go. That's hard. It's very hard. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every conversation will lead to change. But every time we choose empathy over anger, we plant a seed. And sometimes that's enough. So here's something to think about, guys. Is there a conversation in your life where you could bring more empathy? Maybe it's with a friend, a family member, or even a stranger online. What would happen if instead of reacting, you paused? Instead of arguing, you listened. Empathy isn't about weakness, it's about strength. The strength to see beyond differences and recognize the humanity in each other. And in a world that often feels divided, that kind of love is powerful. That's it for today, guys. But as always, I'll be back soon with more reflections on love, kindness, and the infinite threads that connect us all. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I'll see you next time. I love you all very, very, very much. And please go pass that on.
Every story, every voice, in this love we all rejoice. Infinite threads, here we go. Welcome.